I think what helped me to succeed really well is I was very diligent with my study notes and essay scaffold, so that was really important to me, and that's a skill I try and teach my students to have as well.
All right, awesome. Well, why don't you just start by, introducing yourself?
Well, I'm Lily. I've been at Ignite for since April. I'm predominantly an English student, but I also do modern history or business studies. I'm currently at university, also studying a Bachelor of Arts in English, majoring in English and history, with the intention of doing it with education next year.
And so, what had you want to become a tutor?
I've always found it really rewarding and valuable to see that you're making a real impact on students' lives. And every student's different. And I just thought it's a really incredible job that you see a reward in every single day. Probably the most rewarding moment of students is after like the first lesson when they first come to you and they seem a bit nervous or a bit hesitant and maybe a little bit scared. But then if like there's always a moment like in like the second lesson or where you might get them to smile and ease up a little bit, and you see them like become more confident, feel like they can ask more questions. And to me that's the real reward, where you've kind of felt like you've won the students like support, or they feel really comfortable with you. I feel like that's the most important moment.
Absolutely. I love that. And I think having a great personality and a beautiful smile, and you just
Yeah,
have great
definitely.
energy. If there was one piece of advice you could give to HSC students, what would it be?
I think what helped me to succeed really well is I was very diligent with my study notes and essay scaffold, so that was really important to me, and that's a skill I try and teach my students to have as well. I think the biggest piece of advice I could say is be working on your study notes from the start of the year and constantly be revising, editing, condensing them down. Like, because then when you get to the HSC, so many kids are like, I've got to make all my study notes, I've got to be studying the content. And like, and then when in reality, in that month before the HSC, in between trials or whatever, you should be applying the feedback from trials and be doing practice exams and under time conditions to get good at the actual exam structure and all of that, not learning content. So yeah, that would be the biggest piece of advice I could say.
Look, thank you so much for chatting to me. And I just think there's some amazing advice that you've got in there for students and what they're dealing with.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure, and I really enjoy working at Ignite. It's just been amazing. And yeah, so much positivity in this company from top to bottom. It's amazing.